All right, hi, welcome back to the second episode of whatever this is. And as you can probably see on your screen right now, if you're watching, um, we have we had a wonderful start, and we didn't expect this. But our first episode got 94 views on YouTube. Me and Artem thought we'd get like 30 to 40 at most. We really did not expect this good of a response from everybody. So, to anybody who liked, retweeted on Twitter, shared us, gave us a shout out, or who subscribed, we have a couple of new subscribers on the channel. People who commented in any way, if you interacted with the podcast, thanks a lot. And we love you all, and we're going to do our best to make this as good as possible. I got a lot of stuff to discuss today, but I think Artem has something to say first, and then we'll get on with the football.
Yeah, just the same as Hanu. Thank you everybody for the support. The Russian football community on Twitter is the best football community on Twitter, and that's facts. So, like Hanu said, thanks a million for tuning in last week, for interacting with us. And if you feel like this video, if you like this podcast, throw a like, throw us a comment, let us know what you think.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, we will get guests on in the near future. We'll probably get our faces on. We'll improve the audio quality. So we're going to try our best to, make the podcast as good and as enjoyable as possible. Now, that's probably going to be the only positive section of this podcast, given the Russian football season is back. And it's not gotten off to a good start. The super. I mean, after the restart, it wasn't great, and now the new season. I thought Russian football would turn a new leaf. We would have a great match week with just great football, no controversy. That didn't happen. Obviously, we'll get into all of those in a second. But first, to raise the curtain on this season, I think that's the right phrase. We had the Super Cup, which was held in Moscow. And as you can see, Zenit won, even though it looks like Loko had more shots. Zuba scored, Ozdoev got Luka. Nobody really cares about the Super Cup. So, Artem, did you watch this game? What do you think of it? Do you think it has any impact on the rest of the season? What are your thoughts on this game, really?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't watch it. I saw the highlights. Azdoev's goal was unbelievable, but
Yeah.
apart from that, it seemed like a dead enough game. Like from everyone I've heard from, like it didn't seem like it was, worth putting on. So I'm kind of happy I missed it.
Yeah, you're right. I think there's not much to say. I think I watched bits and pieces of it. I didn't really, it was not the best game ever. Lovren made his debut and he was decent enough.
My boy,
But no, don't say that again. Uh,
my boy, he
he's
was so good yesterday as well.
played against Rotor Volgograd, man. Anybody is good. I would play good against Rotor Volgograd. You saw how
Listen,
terrible.
50% of the games we have this season are against teams like Rotor Volgograd who aren't going
That's
to attack us too much.
but we
So
spent did we spend 12 million euros on a 31-year-old to play against Rotor Volgograd? That's what I
yes,
said.
we did. Yes, that's
That's a
exactly what
shit
we
deal
did.
then. That's a shit deal. We need players that can play in the Champions League. He's gonna get spun by Stade Rennais in the Champions League group stage or something, man.
You're
That's
too
the best
negative.
like that. Not too negative. A Lokomotiv, I just wanted to say, and I said this to Artem in the chat as well during the game. I think they need God. They need a divine intervention because they've made a few signings, but in real like overall, I don't think this is a Champions League squad. Their manager does not want to play the new signings as well. It's only been 2 games, but still, they do have some decent prospects. But I think if they want to actually do something in the Champions League, they'll need a lot more. That's all I have to say about this game. We'll move swiftly on to the main the main course, which was the Russian Premier League. Um, I'll be honest. This season I usually get really excited about the start of the new season, new players, new kits, new just everything new. But this has been one of the deadest game weeks of any new season in any league. Like, there's not a great selection of games you can see, like 2-0, 1-0, 3-0. All the away teams won. There was not really any much action on the pitch. Did you watch any games, Artem? And if so, which ones? What did you think? What's your initial impression of the new season?
Yeah, so I watched the first game of the season, CSKA against Khimki. To be honest, like it was an okay game. CSKA looked good. Got to see Gajic for the first time, and he
Yeah.
walloped the crossbar in the last minute. But to be honest, they looked comfortable the whole time. Himki didn't look great, so don't know. Then I watched. What else did I watch? I think the only other game then I watched was Zen against Rotor. I think that's it. To be honest,
I don't blame you. That the Rotor Zenit wasn't a great game either. What do you think of it?
pretty awful, to be honest. Like I
Exactly.
was watching the game and Zenit at no point looked like they weren't comfortable. It was kind of similar to the Cisco game, to be honest. Drusi, what a player, but
Right.
him and Barrios were amazing. The rest was just okay, like nothing special really.
Exactly. I'll tell you what I watched. I watched chunks of this game. I watched a little bit of this game. I watched Ufa Krasnodar. Krasnodar actually looked very good. Wanderson, I think, is the most underrated player in the league. He's a very, very good player. I can't speak of him highly enough. Kabeya got a brace as well. But that's the thing with
His goals were so good. Both of them were like right into the top corner. Both of them.
he has
Unbelievable.
too much sauce, to be fair. If he can be injury free, that's the thing with Krasnodar. They get you like on these first day of the seasons. They always get you. The next week they'll go and lose to Akhmat or something like that. That's the thing, man. Like they just don't have the consistency. If they do, then I think they could actually win the league this season.
Ooh,
but they're probably not.
Big call.
That's the thing about them. Arsenal Akhmat, I said last week that this game should not be televised. And it didn't happen. I don't think we need to acknowledge that game's existence because it ended 0-0. By the way, a quick note for our listeners: if you hear dogs barking or construction noises in the background, that's my fault, and I hope the mic doesn't pick it up. But still,
yeah, Hanu was multitasking.
Yeah, I am multitasking. I'm building buildings and I'm feeding dogs and doing it all at once. Spartak Sochi, we're gonna get to this game. Sparta got me again going 2-0 up with some great goals, but then this probably became the biggest game of the week in terms of the headlines. I
don't think we need to get to it. I think we need to talk about it now, to be honest. I think that's the biggest game of this game week by far. Like like the other games, okay, we can mention here and there.
Yeah,
this game, this
game was mad.
Game. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, I did not watch Rubin Lokomotiv and I fell asleep. I actually fell asleep during this game. Dinamo looked good. They're Dinamo, so I can't trust them. Spartak Sochi. Now, Artem, take us through this game and its aftermath from start to finish.
Okay, so I mean, there's nothing really much to be said except for two penalty decisions which have caused massive controversy. So the first one, personally, I thought the first one was a penalty. To be honest, a lot of people did. But it's the second penalty, which was it the 86th or the 87th? It was really late on the game. Anyway, It doesn't really matter what minute it was. It was just the biggest farce I've ever seen. Like, the player, I can't remember who even it was, got the shot off and then kind of went into Zhigo to defend the Spartak defender. And somehow the referee thought, oh, that is a penalty. That is what I'm going to give. So he called VAR. And I don't know if you heard the clip. And I know you don't speak Russian, so maybe you didn't understand it. But in the clip of the VAR, it was between the two referees. And one of the referees was like, oh, there's no way I can not cancel that out. Like, but then when it got to it, he just goes, yeah, no, your decision is fine. Play away. So the referee gave the penalty, and that was the penalty that leveled the score. Noboa scored from it, and Spartak drew 2-2. Now, after that, Leonid Fedun, Spartak's owner, comes out and says, you know what? This is ridiculous. If the refs are going to be like this, if no one needs Spartak in the league, we'll just withdraw from the league. And, okay, later on, obviously, they didn't withdraw from the league. But the fact that he even said that, like, it just shows how fucked up that decision was.
Definitely. And we've got the game on the screen here. So, yeah, as you can see on the screen, I hope we don't get copyrighted by the Premier League. But I think this is a pretty clear penalty. And that was the consensus online as well. That was a pretty clear penalty. The second one, which is the one everybody is getting mad at, you're going to see over here. And I don't see how that's a penalty, and rightly nobody else does either. But I think the thing with this is, after this game, obviously this Fedun said they're gonna withdraw from the league. Then Victor Kasai, who's the head of the refereeing organization, he suspended the referees. Now they're going to take a polygraph test, so we're heading into like proper murky territory here. But since then, the thing with the outrage with this penalty was, I think this is not the worst call Spartak have had in the past few months. Ever since the restart, they've had dodgy calls, and this man over here, he gets livid every game, starts shouting, screaming, and people meme him for that. I actually feel bad for him because I don't think he deserves any of this. He wasn't happy in the press conference either. And here, Fedun said, I don't want to participate in this clownery that was staged and spend money, whatever. And yesterday, obviously, they said, they're not going to do that, but they're very mad at the refereeing, and rightly so. Now, there's a couple of theories. There's three things floating around, right? I'm going to get to each of them. So one is that there's a betting scandal which involves all of these referees. The other is that Zenit are paying money, or Gazprom are paying money to get bad calls against Spartak. And the third option is that these refs are just absolutely fucking terrible and can't do their job. Now, Artem, which theory do you think is the correct one? And what do you think of these conspiracies about betting scandals and Gazprom buying the refs?
The thing about Gazprom buying the refs, people have been saying that for years now, and I don't think it's true. But I tend to believe the third option there, that the referees in Russia are just shit. Like, this is not the first time it's happened, and it's not even the first year that this is happening. Like, this has been going on for years. Like, I remember Andres Villas-Boas talking about how bad the referees were. I remember so many referee calls going against, okay, Spartak get them a lot, but against other teams too. Like, there was another one going on later in the game week with Rubin as well.
Yeah.
So I just think the quality of refereeing in Russia is awful. Like, I think Fedun was right to say that they're clowns.
Yeah, 100%.
What do you think?
I've said every day on my Twitter. I think I've not seen referees as bad as in Russia. Like,
Yeah, that's fact.
I don't know how somebody can be that bad at their job at that professional level. Some of these guys referee games in Europe. Some of these, now VAR as well. I'm usually pro VAR, and on other podcasts I've made it clear how pro VAR I am. But like Russia, just my faith in VAR has gone down so much because of Russian referees. And only in England and in Russia have I seen VAR used this terribly. It's fine in the Champions League. It's sometimes dodgy in La Liga, but usually fine. It's okay in the Bundesliga. And I don't know how it's not a good look for the league, Like, imagine some dude who wants to get into Russian football. We often talk about, Russian football not getting its due praise, and those things are true. But for the past, ever since this game, which was 3 days ago at this point, all the newspapers and websites have been full of just one thing, which is Fedun this, Fedun that, referees this, referees that. And this was the case at the end of the previous season as well. So I just don't think it's a great look for Russian football. I think it paints Russian football in a terrible light. And I don't even know how you fix this, in all honesty. I really don't.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely not any quick fix for bad refereeing. I agree with you on the VAR point as well, to be honest, because VAR, like, it was brought in to make decisions clear, to help the referees out. But I think in Russia, it's just muddied things further. Like, it does not help at all in these situations, clearly, because that decision against Spartak should have been overturned straight away.
I agree. I don't even know if it should have been given in the first place. Now, you said there was a pretty scandalous call in the Sparta game. You said it's one of the most scandalous things you've ever seen. And that was until the next game, this game, which is Rubin versus Lokomotiv.
Yeah.
You don't need look at like Apologies for that audio, but you do not need VAR. Excuse the terrible quality as well. How is
Yeah,
that
I was
not a
gonna say
penalty?
that's 5 pixels. Like I can't see shit there. Like maybe you can see it on your screen, but on my screen that's just awful.
All right, hold
Anyway,
on. Yeah, like you don't need. What do you do? That's such a clear penalty, and Slutsky got red carded in the aftermath because he was going berserk on the timeline, and rightly so. And Rubin even made this meme and another rap song, this time in Russian with him.
the rap song is so good.
Yeah, they made this,
I
and this is
yeah.
hilarious. Um, this is pretty funny, but there's nothing to say at this point. How bad can refs be? And you know what? I don't even think referees should be allowed to red card managers. Like, yes, they're annoying at times, but when referees are of this horrid, as like if they're this bad, I think Tedesco and Slutsky are well within their rights to absolutely go mental on the touchline.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And to be honest, like I've never seen a league that has had so many manager red cards as the Russian league. Like
Exactly,
Tedesco gets a red card every second
every
game.
single game, exactly. And I don't even know, like this rule was made official a couple of years ago, but we used to see before that as well, managers getting sent off. But now you can like yellow card every single coach and every single manager. It just gives referees too much power, and they can deal with these problems with ease. Just red card a manager, and that's that done. But it's just a very sad state. We're supposed to be a funny podcast, but it's just a really sad state for Russian football, because we really do care about it. You can see Spartak and Ruben sharing a moment together. Now,
Yeah, so Slutsky as well, I don't know if you heard or not, but he actually called for the referee in that game to be suspended. He said
exactly,
if
you should be suspended.
if Kashai, the guy who's governing all these referee, says that it was a penalty, he wants the referee to be banned until the end of the season, or even better, for life, which which is hilarious.
Yeah,
But like I can't even disagree with that because like it's just that bad. Like I could stand in the middle of a Russian football field and probably make better decisions than those referees.
exactly. And this is a point a lot of people that advocate for, that fight for referees' rights say that, oh, there's so much pressure and people are shouting. You do not, there's a linesman on the side, there's two linesmen, there's VAR. You have all the assistance you need. If you can't give it stone cold penalty like in the Ruben game, you should not be doing your job. That's as simple as that.
Exactly, 100%.
Like, children can make better decisions. And this is the thing, I don't usually believe in like match fixing or buying refs or doping in football, but some of these decisions are so bad, so blatantly terrible. It's like um doing it essentially to gain views or clicks, or like it's entertainment at this point. Oh, we're going to guess which league or which game is going to have bad calls, and it's a weekly thing at this point. Some manager gets mad, and then you have some fools like Fedotov and Nikolic who defend the referees by saying that, oh no, it's a fair call, they're doing their job. Like the same thing will happen to you in a matter of time. I don't see why you defend it.
Exactly.
But
You know what though? You just said about doping, yeah.
yeah,
Maybe, just maybe, we should dope the referees. Give them something like Ritalin that'll make them
exactly,
focus on the game.
exactly.
It's all your problem solved because I don't think referees get dope tested. I don't think they need to. So,
Who even
or
cares if
maybe
they
they
do?
do in this case.
Yeah, they might be on some performance, whatever the opposite of enhancement is. They're taking those drugs,
Enhancing?
probably.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
No idea.
Um, People make these jokes about Russian football players doping. I think it's the referees that really need a bit of help in that.
Facts.
Just
Exactly.
give them a bit of
Can we move on to the referee that didn't deserve what he got?
yes. Now, if you're a regular human and you think, if you're really concerned about this referee issue, you might say, you know what, referees, they're humans, they deserve probably better education in their refereeing field, better decision making, better guidelines. Roman Shirokov, he thinks out of the box. He was playing in a amateur league match. I don't know why this guy is still playing. Just move on, go home.
I think it was the celebrity tournament.
There's too many celebrity tournaments in Russia. There's one every week. There's not that many celebrities, man. Honestly,
No, but I think that this is like the quarterfinal of one or something like that. Like
who
they were
cares?
playing against I can't remember who they were playing against. Maybe a YouTuber team or something like that.
This is like that when Arsenal Fan TV decided to do their football league. This is what that reminds me of. Now, Roman Shirokov, legend, but the referee is seen red carding Roman Shirokov, and then Roman Shirokov goes into UFC mode. He batters the referee for absolutely no reason. And this is a bit graphic content, so if you don't want to see a referee getting beaten up, maybe look away. And this is the poor guy. I feel really bad for him, and he's going to be fine, which is the good part. He says that he plans to go to the police, but fears his career might be over as Shirokov has too many connections. Shirokov has been suspended from Match TV, and he gave a terrible apology, a proper YouTuber apology. And then Mamayev's lawyer, the man with a very skewed moral compass, he said that he'll defend Shirokov if there is a case. And this just makes me sad. But like,
Yeah, it's a bit ridiculous, but like the whole situation, like Shirokov obviously thought he was due a penalty, and the referee didn't think so. So Shirokov cursed at the referee, and the referee went over to give him a red card. Shirokov said, "You give me the red card, and okay, I'm paraphrasing because I'm translating from Russian as well. But he said something like, I'll beat the shit out of you, essentially.
and
So
he
the ref gave him the red, and Shirokov kept his word. So at least at least he's a man of his word. But he's actually some asshole. Like genuinely, this is one of the worst cases of any ex-player doing something like this that I've ever seen in Russia. And he's a scumbag. He deserved
go to jail.
anything that's coming to him. But I think it's going to probably end up in a settlement. The referee will probably get some money, and Shirokov will walk away with pretty much untouched reputation.
Exactly. I like how Artem said ex-player because we've seen active players do comparably the same thing.
Yeah. Listen. At least they didn't do it on a football pitch. Which
Yeah,
is
at least
probably
they didn't
worse,
do it
actually.
for pitch. But you can see the dichotomy of man over here. There's some people that decide to withdraw from leagues when there's bad refereeing calls. There's others that decide to get physical. And it's funny because this guy did nothing wrong, but the people that are doing like making horrible decisions, they're probably nothing's going to happen to them.
Genuinely, this bloke, like, he was following the rules exactly by the book. Like,
Yeah,
and Shirokov deserved it for cursing at the ref like that. And it's not even the first time that he's done stuff like that. Like, there's been people coming out and saying he's done it professional games, and referees are just afraid to red card him over that. And he's also like he's called out fans. He's genuinely been a scumbag throughout his whole career. Like, I don't think there's one fan base in Russia that actually considers him a legend of the game, to be honest.
he's a fucking
So
dickhead, man. And it's sad because he's like one of those players that people outside of Russia know, like Kerzakov and Arshavin. He's comparable to that sort of group of people. And it's
I
sad.
don't know about that. I think
Do
they're
you
a
not
level
think so?
above him. Like, both of them
Yeah,
played in
definitely,
Europe.
definitely they are.
Like Shirokov. All right. What I will agree with you on is that he was a player of that caliber of the Kerzakov, and okay, maybe not Arshavin, but Kerzakov probably he was
Yeah,
close to that level. But he never left Russia, and he's been a scumbag in Russia his whole career. So I don't think his name actually got out there as much as the others. No, I do agree that he was a good player, but like I don't think he was that level.
well, I hope he's not because he has garnered international attention now because of his exploits. Now, Artem, who do you think wins in a fight between Shirokov and Kokorin?
Does Kokorin get to use the chair or no?
That's a good question.
For real though, I can't imagine Kokorin's going to be fighting anytime soon. Do you know what though? Like, it's really weird because you see both these footballers, like Kokorin and Shirokov. If you looked at them both in the eye, you think they're pretty like decent guys. They don't look scary. Like Shirokov has a bit of a baby face. Like, but
Tarasov has a bit of a baby face. He's the biggest fucking dickhead in the world.
He does have a little bit of a baby face though. Like if you take away the receding hairline and the knowing that he's a dickhead, you'd probably be like, oh, he's probably just a nice guy, but he's not. So I think it'd be a close one. I think Shirokov probably has more experience fighting, so I'll say him.
Kokorin's younger though, and he's like in form. Like.
Yeah, but like clearly, like it's like when UFC fighters fight and stuff,
Yeah,
and people are like, oh yeah, like Conor McGregor hasn't fought in like 3 years. Kokorin hasn't fought in 2 years now. Shirokov
that is
fought the
true.
other day.
That is
He's
true.
got the he's got that advantage.
I think we need to. This is the fight we need to set up. People are talking about the rematch between Khabib and Conor McGregor. Mike Tyson is going to fight again soon, but I think this is what we need to set up. Shirokov versus Kokorin. Whoever,
Oh God, who do you think is going to win in a fight if they were two fighting?
I don't know. I think I'd take Kokorin, to be fair. Or yeah, I think I would take Kokorin. If you add Mamaev into the mix, then Shirokov is done though.
Yeah, do you
Uh,
know what? Like Mamaev just looks scary.
yeah,
Like he
Mamaev,
looks like he's been through some shit.
he does. But that's the thing I said to you as well. I just hope the next generation of Russian football players are just nicer blokes. Because I
Oh
can't.
man, that's never gonna happen. Like it's every single generation of Russian footballers. They go through phases where like they'll be touted as the next big thing, and then they get in one scandal after another. Like it happened with Arshavin, it happened with Shirokov, it's happened with Kokorin and Mamaev. It's gonna happen again, no doubt.
Yeah, but I can't really imagine Zelim Khan Bakayev beating up anyone. Seems like
Yeah, okay, that's a different story though. Like maybe not Bakayev. Like I'm not here to predict which Russian footballers are gonna have scandals in the future,
yes.
but I guarantee that they will exist.
Yeah, for sure. But I just hope that, overall it's a better group of players on the pitch and off the pitch as well.
Yeah, so I hope you're right, but like, look, we recorded this podcast less than a week ago, and already there's referees, all of them referees, and one with an ex-footballer. So, I think it's just bound to happen.
Mm-hmm. I think we should start a segment where we predict what happens next week. Like, what do you think is?
Oh, Jesus Christ, Hanu! Like, do you want to go first?
Um, I feel like I do, but you know what? I need the fixture list for this one because you never know where the stories come from. You never know where the stories come from.
But the problem is, you'll look at the fixture list, and you'll think, oh, like, I don't know what game you're even looking at there, like, and thinking, oh, there's something going to happen in that game. I think that, the biggest scandals in Russian football happen outside of football, and they're not really predictable.
That's
Like we could predict whatever we want, but at the end of the day, we're just going to be slandering footballers' names. Like we're going to predict the same footballers to do the same shit over again. Like no one's going to be here saying like, I don't know, name a really innocent footballer in Russia.
Bakayev.
Yeah, no one's going to be like, oh, Bakayev's out here like drunk driving or something, because it's not going to happen. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? We're always going to gravitate towards the same players. It's
I
going to be
asked.
like, Pogrebnyak, Kokorin, Mamaev, Shirokov, maybe Arshavin. He hasn't done anything in a while.
Yeah, I asked Guliev already did that drunk driving thing, so Bakayev doesn't need to worry about it.
Yeah,
Uh,
didn't he batter someone as well?
yeah, he
Guliev,
drunk driving, then he battered this American bloke. I don't think he's picked.
lovely.
Every team has this like one idiot, you know. And Lokomotiv, that's actually a really good transition. Lokomotiv might have their Mamaev, Kokorin, whatever you want to call it. Now they have. Last week we briefly mentioned that Lokomotiv fans are not happy at them signing a new centre back, and I looked into this guy. He's still not officially been announced, but this seems like a real character. He seems like a proper heathen. You can see the headlines. He beat his partner, spat at the judge, and often screwed up. So Lokomotiv have signed a centre back, 31-year-old Serbian centre back called Slobodan Rajkovic. He has, at the age of 15, he made his debut in Serbia, regularly playing for the youth teams of the country. At the age of 17, he ended up in Chelsea, made his debut there as well. A lot of these, big clubs showed interest in him. And then he got into the notorious Chelsea loan system, playing for PSV, Twente, Vitesse, a lot of these clubs. Fairly innocuous career so far. He's just a promising player that just didn't get on. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. This guy moved to Hamburg, and his move to Hamburg was he was voted the worst defender in the Bundesliga. This was in 2011 or 12. So already you're looking at a proper stalwart, just the defensive leader Lokomotiv need.
Can I just stop you there? What league has a vote for the worst player in a position?
I think it's the media that does that, the newspapers, because they have nothing better to do.
That's hilarious.
It's not that uncommon, to be fair. Luka Modric was voted the worst signing in La Liga in 2013. That ended up well for Marca. But
Yeah.
that was a
I
great
wonder if we have something like that here in Russia.
we could start it at the end of the
We could start it.
Yeah, we could start it.
We'll do it at the end of the season.
Yeah. So back to his career. Moved to Hamburg for 2 million. Turned out to be unsuccessful. A sending off, a 3-match suspension, fell out of the main team and injured his knee. He was named Rambo. He had an argument with this Korean guy called Hyung-Min Sun. You might know of him. Escalated into a fight, which another guy got stray shots. Then he was sent to the second team. Then at the 2008 Olympics, he spat at the referee who served the Serbia-Argentina game. Quick fun fact, Lionel Messi played in this game. And he spat at the referee because he was so sad. He just got mad, didn't like a decision. This is another way to tackle refereeing, by the way. We're going to see all different types of ways to tackle bad referees. This is one of them. You can either throw hands, you can threaten legal action, or you can just spit at them. FIFA decided to disqualify him for another year. Again, he got his knee injured. In 2015, he left Hamburg, got only 45 matches. Then another, few years without the club. And then he moved to Palermo, which is in the second division of Italian football. Knee injuries, inconsistent, featuring in the squad, a low level of play. After he signed, the club actually went bankrupt. He was so good, they went bankrupt. 6 months later, Perugia, another second division club, showed an interest in him. He had, a unremarkable spell over there. Then his contract expired, and now he's been signed up by Lokomotiv. What a character.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that looking at that kind of CV, Lokomotiv even decided to go for him. And I can kind of understand why why their fans were banging their heads last week. Jesus Christ.
This guy, on his Wikipedia page, it also says that he once described his style of play as too aggressive for the referees. So
okay.
You have a proper how long do you think it will take for him to make the news in Russia? How many weeks?
I don't think it's going to take very long. I'm actually kind of afraid for the safety of the refs at this stage. Maybe they should start wearing helmets or something.
Bulletproof vest at this point, Louis,
Yeah, exactly. Do you remember that? I just remembered another refereeing incident a couple of years ago. The referee must have been shitting himself. Ahmad Demterek, Grozny were playing a match, and a decision went against them. And over the speaker in the stadium, Ramzan Kadyrov, basically just said the referee was he called him a goat or a pig or something, which is a big insult in Russia. I'd say he walked out of that stadium. He was probably calling his wife and kids, telling them he might not see them again. That has to be the scariest thing to ever happen to a referee.
You kind of understand why referees are so bad because of the way they're treated in Russia. You think
I don't know. If I was being treated this badly, I'd kind of
that's
think,
true, actually.
Maybe just maybe I'll stop being shit. Maybe I'll look over more games and more questionable decisions and kind of decide. I know every football moment is different, but you've got to be able to get better as a referee. You can get better in any job. You can't just stay at that shit level your whole career.
Yeah, but imagine going to referee Ural Rotor and your life is in danger. That'd be pretty. And this guy, by the way, Nikolic, their manager, who has divided opinion, he said, like, talking about the transfer strategy, he said that we want young players with a lot of potential, and we want like established foreign players that can help us. I don't know if
Okay.
I don't know of his definition of established foreign players that would help the team, but I'm not really.
No. This guy isn't an established foreign player. He's the young player.
That's true. You did
He's
say,
only 31.
yeah, you did say centre backs have longer spans last week, so
Exactly.
yeah,
Look, you got to look into Nicolas' head.
that's true. He might be onto something, you know. I don't know why they're looking for centre backs as well. They've signed two already. They got what Listsov and already got Korluka. So I don't
And
know.
Kvirkvelia. Is Kvirkvelia leaving?
I
Like,
don't.
what's the story with that?
They're saying he might go to Rotor. Some other clubs are interested.
What?
Yeah, that's the thing. Wasn't he really good a couple of years ago?
He was one of the best defenders in the
Best,
league a couple of years ago.
right?
I remember him being linked to like West Ham and those kind of teams.
Exactly. There was because I perfectly remember seeing that he might go to Rotor or just might leave because Rotor already have two Georgians, so they mentioned that might go to Rotor. I don't know though. I wouldn't like to. I think he's a better player than that. That would be sad to see him go to. I think Lokomotiv do need God though at this point.
I mean, look, God is clearly helping them with that referee decision the other day. Maybe they've got maybe they have the power of God, the power of Allah, or someone else.
The power of Semin probably.
Yeah, his ghost is still around in the stadium.
His ghost.
I know he's not dead, but his footballing ghost.
Yeah. Without Alexei Miranchuk, that team would be, I don't even know where they'd be, man. That Rybczynski guy.
Yeah, I really want him to go to Milan or someone just to see what happens to Lokomotiv after that.
That would be, I don't know. Smolov is looking good again, which is good for them. I really want to see him do well. I really feel bad for that guy. So this has been, the major news of this week. Referees, people fighting people, heathens coming to Russia. And there have been some other small transfers, some that, you might mention later on. Going back to Ramzan Kadyrov, this thought came into my head just a minute ago. We haven't seen that man come in the news for a while. I think it's time for Ramzan to, show that he's.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with you there. Okay, we haven't seen him for a while. That doesn't necessarily mean for him to come out. Like every time he comes out, it's something controversial. It's not something that. It's rarely good news. I'll put it that way.
That's true. You know what the thing with Akhmat is? This is completely unrelated to Ramzan Kadyrov. Both Akhmat and Anzi, they have some really good scouting networks. Like the players, like just think of the players that have come through Akhmat, have played at Akhmat, and you'll find some very, very good names in there. They're always near the bottom of the table, but I don't know why that is, to be fair. But they just seem to have very good scouting networks. Now, going back to...
Yeah, like I agree with you to some extent, but I also think they do buy a lot of players. Like I think that it's just like they'll get one in every 10 or something right, like really right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of their business model. Like I feel like that's the way they're going. Like one in every 10 players they sign will be just really, really good and end up going either abroad or to a bigger Russian club. But the rest of them, we just never really hear them.
Yeah, to be fair, I like it more than the newly promoted clubs' tactics of just loaning every fringe player every big team has. Like,
yeah, do you see Lomovitsky went to Khimki this morning?
Lomovitsky went, the Dinamo guy went, Idovu is already gone to Khimki. It's just...
Yeah.
But
does Idovu count as a foreigner?
I don't think so. I think he's still Russian.
I'm pretty sure he does. Like I had this conversation with someone else. I can't remember who it was, but I think he counts as a foreigner. But I don't really get why. I thought he had both citizenship, both Russian and Nigerian.
I'm pretty sure he does because, if you look, I think on transfer market, he definitely has both citizenships. What do you think of it, though? Do you think I think he's good enough for Kimki's level, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, I've always liked him. To be honest, I like him as a person. Like every interview he's done is really good. As a player,
Yeah.
he's okay. Like he's never going to be playing for like or
Mhm.
okay, he played for Lokomotiv, but I don't think he's going to play regularly ever for one of the better teams in the league. But
Yeah.
he's a solid choice for mid-table and lower.
Club like that, yeah. Here you can see some of the transfers, not much to say. Like, look at this.
Oh,
Tambo.
Josinho though.
I hate Jorginho. He's so mid. He's such a Sochi
Oh
player.
no, yeah, I know, but he was so good a couple of years ago. Like
Yeah, but now he's a very, very Sochi transfer. But
yeah, he is.
like, look at this. Spartak to Khimki, Dinamo to Khimki, Krasnodar to Tambov. This guy, we never heard of this guy after he signed as well. The NDI, gone to some random club in Sweden. But we have a couple of other news items, and this was very early just after we recorded. I think this came out. The Wolves. The Wolf has transitioned into the 21st century. He has edges. He looks like something out of RoboCop. He looks like a police wolf more than just a regular PNG wolf which they had last year. Adam, what do you think of this rebrand, and how would you like to introduce this?
Yeah, their crest last year really annoyed me. Like every time I looked at it, I was just like,
Yeah,
you're playing in the sixth biggest league in Europe, and
and you
that's
have
your
that.
crest.
Right.
It was a PNG Wolf and a PNG football. Like it was made in Clipper. It was one of the worst crests I've ever seen. Now I like this one. I genuinely like this new one, but it does look awfully like that Toronto one, doesn't it?
It does,
There's
but I think it's a lot better than that. That old one was launched in 2019, yet it still looked like it was from 10 years ago. It got old so quickly. This one, I feel like, even though it's very simplistic, would do a decent job in the FNL when it comes to branding. They did a proper reveal, you know, trying to pretend like they actually put any time or effort into it.
yeah,
Uh, these are proper graphics.
yeah, no, it is much better than the last one.
Yeah, shame. Sadly for them, they're gonna go down, so we won't be able to enjoy it in all of its glory. Oh, that's a nice bus, to be fair. That bus looks great. We're reviewing buses now. We're reviewing buses on this podcast now. Speaking of reviews, some more kits came out.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, now, Akmat we did, Dynamo we did. Now, this article, I just found it right before this podcast. They have some terrible views on kits. They think Dynamo's kit got worse. They think Zenit's kit got better, which I don't know how. Krasnodar, no significant difference. That's fine. Lokomotiv's kit, they're saying got a little better. I think it's the same.
I
Rostov,
kind
not.
of got worse.
Yeah, it's not better, or it's not better, that's for sure. Rostov, they're saying is better. This is Rostov's kit on the site. What do you think of it? I think it's fine. It's nothing much, but it's fine.
Yeah, I mean it's okay. Like
It's okay.
the thing is, I don't like the fact that clubs always announce kits without the sponsors on them
Mm-hmm.
because you always think, oh, that's a nice plain kit. Like that's you know, it's kind of stylish when they're playing, and then
Yeah,
they put all the sponsors on them. It's like, yeah, no, I'm not so much of a fan. It's the same thing with the CSKA one.
yeah,
Like when they announced it, it was like, oh, that looks kind of sick, and then they added like they have 8 sponsors on their shirt,
yeah.
eight,
We're gonna.
which is just ridiculous.
It is. We're gonna show you that kit as well. Now, Rotor's kit we talked about last week. We said it looked like old Soviet kits. They're new ones. They look. I prefer these old ones to this. What's the point?
Do you know, I like the style of the new kits, right? If they still said rotor instead of marathon bet. But like to be honest, they're getting that bag clearly. So,
I don't think it's the bag. I
doing what they need to survive.
nobody else wants to sponsor Rotor apart from these betting companies.
Yeah, well, like they're making some money out of it. So,
Still prefer Rotor, just Rotor. Sochi,
oh, me too. Don't get me wrong.
we don't recognize Sochi on this podcast, so don't care. They're saying Spartak is better, which it's not. Artem likes
I
that
actually
kit.
think so as well. The more I look at those kits, the more I like them.
This one looks fine without the sponsor actually. But this doesn't.
I actually like the red one. I actually like it.
Well, I don't know. There's something off about it. Tambov, no one cares. It's so plain. It's like the Krylia kit. Ural. I hope they get relegated. Ufa, they're saying is hell, but I think Ufa have the best kits in the league. This is not a great photo. We're going to show you that in a second. But
I think
Ufa,
it's nice.
yeah, it's really nice. And in the game as well, there's like it's like a weird pistachio color for the fonts and the numbers on the shirt. It looks really nice. And CSK, they say progress. These were the kits that CSK launched, but as we're going to show you, they have tons of sponsors on them, which I think actually enhanced the look of the kit. I think I really did not like the. See here, you can see.
I think to a certain extent, wild berries really ruins it for me.
What is wild berries? Do we know? Is it like
No idea.
yogurt brand or something? Sounds like a yogurt brand.
It might be. I don't know. Like honestly, I've never heard of that.
But
company,
yeah,
so.
too many sponsors. They're not even
like if it didn't have the wild berries on, I think it'd be nice.
the black one looks okay, but
because you can't see the wild berries on it.
That is true.
He's covering it with his arms.
He knows, he knows what's going on. He's an intelligent.
Exactly. Vlasic is very up to date with these.
Yeah.
How to brand their kits.
But that's like the plain kit looks worse than all these sponsors. It honestly looked terrible. So
no, listen, I think it looks okay, but I just think, like I said, the wild berries one is the only one that really throws me off. The rest of them are fine.
I don't know what we did as well. Why they've got these Japanese looking letters on the pin, like under their logo.
They're Russian letters, to be fair. It's just the font that makes them look
the font looks really, really weird. Okay, we're gonna have to cut, but it's fine.
FCU. I'll keep that in. Oh my god, that's hilarious.
That is their ad. I remember every club's ad.
Oh my god, that's absolutely amazing. You have to keep that in.
I swear.
Some bloke.
It's U5 FC, man. That's not even their new kit, man. Update your banner at least.
Oh,
I love Artem's laughing, but I really like Ufa's aesthetic, the new purple and stuff. You can see the kit. I really think it's very, very, very nice. Season tickets look great as well, and they launched these alternative kits as well, which we're gonna show you in a second. What do you think is the best kit in the RPL and the worst one this year?
Oh, that's big. Like I really don't know. I feel like I have to watch all the teams play at some point to tell, because like the Zenit kit looks better on the pitch than it does in the announcements and stuff. I'm not saying it's the best one. It's actually nowhere near it, but like the Ufa away one would be up there. Like I said, I really like the Spartak home one and the Spartak away one, to be honest. So, what about you?
I think the Ufa purple kit is probably the best. I like these alternative ones as well. I hope they're selling them, because I like alternative kits of this type, and I don't think they're going to play with them, but I think the designs and stuff are really nice. I think the worst one. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I actually really like it when clubs do that kind of stuff, like just extra merch, not even like the full, not even like a full kit or anything, just even what Zenit did last week. I can't remember who it was, some Indian guy.
Yeah, it was.
Or some guy with an Indian name, I should say.
But yeah, I like that stuff.
Yeah, like that stuff is really cool. I think that like clubs should do more like that, like more streetwear and stuff as well.
Yeah, we'd also like to give a special shout out to Ruben. Arsenal Tula and Kimki, who have not updated their kits. They just like tradition, They don't. I think Arsenal Tula have never updated a kit. They were founded in, I don't know how long ago they were founded, but they've had the same kit ever since. So a big shout out to them. And yeah, I think that's it for the kits. I think that wraps everything we wanted to mention this week. Of course, we'll be back hopefully next week with our a slightly better audio quality and with our faces on, hopefully with webcams. We'll cover the game. Hopefully, we don't even know what scandals are going to appear this week in Russian football. But again, we hope you enjoyed this episode of the podcast, hopefully more than the previous one. And again, if you want to get involved in any way, like, comment, subscribe. We're very appreciative of that. If you want to come on the podcast, again, let us know. And yeah, that's it. Oh, follow me on Twitter, by the way. I forgot to plug that last time. My Twitter handle is @h4nuu. Yeah, I think that's it for me. Artem, do you like to plug yourself?
Yeah, so on Twitter it's @AMAKAREVRTCH. And yeah, like Hanu said, if you enjoyed, leave a like, comment underneath, or add us on Twitter. Let us know what you're thinking. And let us know who you think would win in the fight, Kokorin or Shirokov.
Yes, that's a very
Talk to you guys
important
next
question.
week.